Hey there everyone, this is Dr. Gwen from the Dr. Gwen International Training and Empowerment Academy. My deepest apologies for being late on this live cast today. My tablet just would absolutely not connect. It just kept swirling and saying scanning. So we have like several networks in this house. My husband, the geek, created this stuff. So apparently it was jumping from one to the other, and I needed to find a password to do this. But I thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully I am able to see, hey Brenda, and hopefully there will be other people joining me. It says for Charles, hi. And so today, what we are actually going to do is we're going to talk about how can you have it all. And what I want to do is to give you a couple tips, a couple very solid tips. I didn't want to jam-pack this session. I just really want to spend no more time than 30 minutes getting over it, and it may be that we don't get through all the content, but I want to give you some practical things today that you can begin to work with. Now, just to review, if you remembered on the first video, hi Jennifer, we talked about you becoming clear about what you want. So you really have to make sure that you are completely clear and passionate about what you want to do. And once you have that, now you look at everything you're committed to. And if you have several commitments and you're all over the place, you're going to have to let some things go. Yes. And don't feel bad about it, because what you are doing must completely align with your spirit and who you are. There's a difference between, some people talk about quitting and being 3 feet from gold. I know I have a very precious girlfriend, and we had a conversation the other day, and she actually was not the only one who I heard say this, because we talk about persistence, and I believe with all my heart that you have to be persistent in what you do. You can't be randomly jumping all over the place and quitting one thing after the other. To avoid doing that, you must exactly know what organizes, what coordinates with your own spirit. See, if you don't know that, then you will not feel fulfilled in accomplishing what you want. And there is a difference between quitting something that you really think is good for you and quitting something that is completely messed up with your spirit, if you know what I'm saying. Doesn't align with who you are. And so you have to clean house. You've got to come to a point where you are going to determine what you have to let go and things that you have to keep. And as we said, you don't just jump off of it. We try not to just jump off of it. Because we committed to it, we're going to speak to the people who we committed to and make sure it's all clear. Now, the next thing you really have to do, though, is that you have to become aware. You must know what's going on inside of you and outside of you and with other people. Creation, any great thing you want to achieve, must first start with your mind. You have got to set that intention, and you must commit with integrity. It doesn't mean that if something happens, you're not going to follow through. For example, today, I have a lot of people coming and going at my house. And I could say, you know what, it's not going to be convenient. I'm just going to not do this live cast. But I found a way to make it work between all of that. And even as I get done with this one, another one comes. So you find a way to fit it in to make it work. If you really want to achieve breakthrough performance, if you really want to have it all, you're going to have to find ways to make it work. So now, once you have created, the getting into action piece is the piece that we want to talk about. And today, my conversation is going to surround some practical tips. What I hope to cover with you is I want to show you my magic money matrix, which is something I created to help people discover whatever they are feeling they are good to work on, like work that they would love. And it's just a simple chart that I created that helps people to discover that. And I know the words are backwards here, but on this chart, what you can do to help you to figure out what it is that you need to do as work, and mark you, this doesn't align with your whole passion in life, right? It doesn't align with your whole passion in life. You want to get what your whole passion in life is, you really have to do some reflection. But this is just work now. And you have to list all the things that you absolutely love, the things that you have strengths in, the things that you are talented or gifted in, just the things that you really love to do. And then you also have to list your trainings and your skills and all of your experiences across the top, down the side, what you love. And then in each cell, you create the intersection between what you actually are skilled at and what you love. You're going to make a list of problems that you can solve for people. Now, if you want to see this visually, just send me an email and I will send this chart, this sheet out to you. You're not going to have to. As I said, I'm not putting any links on anything that I'm doing today. All I want to do is just to share, to empower you to get to the next level where you need to get to. So if you really want this chart, I'll send it out via email to you. If you send me a message, I'll just send it out. You don't have to get on any list or anything. But now today, you're a busy person. People who get on these types of interaction are great people. I was going to say big people. And yes, big people, because you know you want more for your life. You want more for the lives of the people in this world. You have a passion, you have a mission, and you have a goal that you want to give to the world. And sometimes that can be really challenging with all of the things that we have on our plate. So now let's assume that you went in and you cleaned house. And now you are fully aligned. Everything that you are saying yes to are the things that align with who you are and where you're going. So now you have that and you have a big plate. How do you make it all work? Well, that now takes some very careful planning. You have to first of all know that especially if you have children in the house, and tomorrow I'm going to be sharing some tips about kids and some of the things that you can do as a parent, not only to empower your kids to be very successful adults as they're growing up, but also things that will help you as a parent and bring the household together in accomplishing the goals that you are setting out to accomplish. Because after all, the things you are accomplishing in your household is not just for you. It's for your kids as well. It's for your family. So how do you even have those conversations? Now, the thing that you need to keep in mind is this, that you may not be able to go as fast as you want to when you have children. And that doesn't mean a sacrifice, but that will allow you still to have it all. Because what does having it all mean? It means the journey, the steps that you take. See, often we think that life is a destination, right? We've got somewhere to get to. Oh boy, I tell you what, that's how I lived my life for a very long time. Just saying, okay, when I finish this, I'm going to do that. Okay, when I finish this, and you know what? You never get done. It's just like one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And it finally dawned on me that it's all about the journey. You have to enjoy the journey. And in that journey, there's no rush. There's no hurry. God has his timeline. Thank you for sending me the love. Hey, Jackie, thanks for joining me. Hello, Ihiba or Heba. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you for joining me. So as I'm saying, tomorrow we're going to talk about kids. And, when you have kids in the household, how can you get it done? How can you possibly get it all done? And that is one of my favorite topics to talk about, the household and the children and empowering them to be powerful. So now you have to take one step at a time, because the step it's all about the journey. It's not the destination, right? It's not the destination, people, because you won't ever get to a destination. So, for example, I told you yesterday that it took me 11 years to finish my doctorate degree. And it wasn't because I was slow, trust me. It really was not. But it simply was because I knew what I needed to do. My children were not going to be sacrificed. And in the process, they were also going to get the full of me. I was still able to run them to their piano lessons, to their flute lessons, to the science fair. I showed up for every parent-teacher conference. Nothing that I missed. But how was I able to do that? It comes with carefully organizing the household behind what you are about. And that's what I'll get to tomorrow. But today, what I want to do is talk to you about beginning to engage your spouse, for example, if you have a spouse. I've had people say to me, well, you know what? I'm doing this business and I have all of these things that I'm doing and my spouse is not supporting me. Boy, believe me, I understand how that can be the first time around when I had this. Thank goodness right now I have a very supportive husband. But I would have to say this as well, that if I probably didn't have a conversation with him, it probably wouldn't have been that way. So what is the conversation? The first thing you need to do is have a vision. Where are you getting to? And you're going to cast that vision. Hello, loves. I see those little love bubbles. I love them. So yeah. Okay, so you have to make certain that you cast this vision. And this vision cannot be about you alone. You've got to bring your spouse in it. And if you're a guy, because I know I've got someone here. Hey, Cynthia, thanks for joining me. And if you're a girl, a woman, you know that you need to find a way to blend your vision in with your spouse's. What does your spouse want? It's always what does the other person want, and how can you, in fulfilling your vision, also fulfill what that person wants. That's key. Because if they don't feel like you're going to get a benefit, you know how this entrepreneurial journey is. And a lot of you on here, in fact, all of you on here are probably entrepreneurs, or you have an entrepreneurial spirit. If you don't pull them into what you are about, wow, they're going to get tired with that journey, because it's a long journey. And it's a journey where you're going to need them to understand what's going on. So here's the conversation I have with my husband. I say, you know what, honey, I have this vision that I want to fulfill. And this is how it's going to benefit us. And I cast that vision, where we're going to be able to go on vacation, even what we're going to be able to do while we're on that vacation. I'm really creating this picture, this whole visual, so that he can be a part of this experience with me. And you know what? I'm bringing you home too when that happens, so you can enjoy this whole journey with me. And so that's the vision that I cast. He is incredibly supportive, and I know even if I didn't cast that level of vision, that he probably would still have been that level of support. Now, you will have some spouses who are just real negative Nellies, or negative, what do you call them? Nelly's a girl word, right? So negative Ned, right? And no matter what you do or say, they're probably not going to buy it. And that's because of a personality issue that they may have. It's not about you. And you have to keep that vision. For example, when in my first marriage, when I was going through school, I understood where I needed to get. And in the last semester, someone pulled out the support and left me floundering, really. And I had to reach out to a network to complete, just 2 or 3 weeks left to complete what I had to do. So then that brings you to the network. If your spouse won't support you, there's a network that you need. Where are you going to find that network? Perhaps at your church, at your synagogue, in your place of worship, in your community, just wherever, at your children's school. Just form a community of parents where you both can support one another back and forth so that you can get your vision fulfilled and you can have your goals and those dreams and those desires that you have to fulfill. Now, I said I'm talking about kids and family tomorrow, but I also want to say today that you also need to set your boundaries inside of the home. So usually when you work from home, everybody expects everything from you. Well, why you can't do that? You're at home, when you're really actually working. So you've got to really clarify that boundary and make it clear. These are the hours that I'm going to be doing, or this is what I'm doing today. And can you help me with this? Whatever it is. Having an understanding spouse is really critical. It's a gift. It's a God-given, right? But you're going to have to do that. Then now to some meat and potatoes. So if you want to get to some of those big goals that you are achieving, it's going to be necessary for you to put a structure in place. Now, when I say structure, I say that kind of loosely because there are such things called meta programs. Every single one of you have what's called a meta program. And there are 8 different sets of meta programs, right? And I'm just going to go through, probably 7 of them would be relevant to this particular conversation right now. And the meta programs are just the way you do things. And I know I talked about how sometimes we set ourselves in a box and we say this is how we are, and we fail to move outside of that box. But you probably have a general bent to doing things, and it doesn't mean you're stuck that way. You're going to have to be able to cast that vision and get outside of your comfort zone. But these meta programs will just help you to work better with yourself and with the schedule that you're doing. The first one is, are you contemplative versus action-oriented? That is, when you hear something, do you have to mull it over in your head, or do you just jump on it? As I'm asking you these questions, ask yourself this. You probably want to get a little notepad and write it down, because later on, this really is going to help you as you set your own structures in place. So are you contemplative, or are you just this action-oriented person? You just jump into action. The second one is in time versus through time. Are you the type of person who you're just in the moment? You just want to be in the action. You don't want to plan anything out for a long period of time. That just completely drives you nuts in your own mind. It drives you nuts, and you just want to just bring it. I'm spontaneous. I'll jump. I'll do it. Are you that? Because if you are that, then this is also important when you're beginning to set your goals for yourself. Are you the independent person versus the team player? Do you like to do things on your own? Do you take on more leadership stuff, or do you feel like you need a team of people around you for you to succeed? I believe that these meta programs are not fixed in stone. So I'm saying that right now so that you can be aware of it. I don't believe they're fixed in stone. You can make yourself be anything you want. However, still be aware of it. Do you need a team of people around you? And if you do, get support systems in place to fulfill those goals. Then are you global or are you specific? Are you the person who sees the tree, the forest? Or are you the person who needs a specific fine-tuned detail to do it? If you are the global person, you probably won't have any trouble planning those big overall goals. And if you're specific and fine-tuned, then you will definitely be the one taking those action steps. Those action steps will motivate you because you want to list all of that and you like to check off those things as you get them done. And you can be both. You can be both global and action and specific, because I believe that that's my orientation as well. Then are you the type of person who is internal versus external? Now, what do I mean by that? Does your motivation come from you inside? Or do you need somebody else to validate you? Boy, if you are that out there, then you need to get some cheerleaders around you, some people to hold you accountable, and I would quickly say get yourself away from that. Because as I said, you're not locked in a box. You can make yourself anything you want to make yourself. And then the last one is toward or away. Do you find that your motivation is in... So let me give you an example of this. If you're motivated because you want to achieve something great and big in your life, that is toward. If you're motivated because you want to avoid a pain, then that is away. And these are also great when you're working with your own kids. See the bent. Because when you're putting disciplinary stuff in place, for example, and you want to inspire your kids, are they toward? Do you say, look, if you do that again, then, and they jump and act, right? Having raised 3 kids in my household, some of them were that. They were definitely away. You do that one more time, that was enough. And so for some of them, it was, okay, you know what? If you do that, then we get to do this. And that worked. And so you've got to know yourself as you're setting those goals so you can actually cause success in your life. Now, I want to get to the goal setting piece, because if you have a lot of things on your plate, you have to know where you're going with those things. You must know where you're going. It can't be random and all over the place. And what I like to use is SMART goals. Now, I know there's a camp out there that says SMART goals are not goals to be used. My SMART goals are different. And the SMART, the S that I use means your goal has to be specific, right? What are you setting the goal for? You have to be specific. Otherwise, you won't even know when you've reached that goal, right? And it must be measurable. How are you going to know that you have achieved it? So as you do this and you write your little incremental goals, you need to make certain that you know how it's going to be achieved. So for example, let's say your whole passion is you want to be self-fulfilled And there is a conference that's coming up that's going to cost $300 to attend. And so your goal is specific because it relates to your passion of being self-fulfilled. This conference certainly fills the whole process of you becoming that. So you set the goal that you're going to go, and now it's let's say $3,000. It's $3,000 to go to this conference, and you've got to save some money to get there. So now your goal is to save $3,000. That's measurable. $3,000. You will know whether you've saved it or whether you have not. Now, the A in the SMART part means action-oriented. This is where mine is different from a lot of the other people, because some of them say attainable. And the conversation is, if you're setting a goal, make it big, and make it hairy, make it audacious, make it bold, make it scary. Make it something that scares you, because then that's how you get to grow beyond who you are. But your goal has to be action-oriented. If you don't have action orientation in those goals, how are you going to know that you are on your way? How, right? And then R meaning relevant. That's where my R differs again. Your goal must be relevant. Relevant to where you're going. You want to be self-fulfilled. This conference is going to get you to be self-fulfilled, or so you think. So you set this goal of $3,000 to pay for the conference ticket. So it's relevant. And then last, the T is time bound. It must be time bound. Now, there is a piece that's really missing though, because if you set a goal with all of that, then you may not hit the goal. And I think this is where a lot of people fall down, because they don't put strategies inside of those goals. When you have action, okay, so let me give you an example of a strategy. So you're going to save $3,000, and let's say you're going to do it over 30 months, just to round out the numbers. So that would be what? $1,000 a month, or my math, $100 a month. Charles, you're on here. You're the math guy. Okay, so, all right. So let's say it's $100 a month over 30 months. Now, you can say you're going to save it, but you have to have a strategy. How are you going to do it? Especially if your income doesn't allow you to save $100. So you have to create what I call goal raise. That's RAYS, goal raise. So you create those goal raise, and those goal raise are going to tell you the strategies that you're going to use. Perhaps you're going to sell something on eBay. Perhaps you're going to pick up a little task here. Perhaps you're going to, whatever you're going to do, you put all those raise together, and those are your strategies. But it's not done yet. It's not done yet. It sounds like a lot of work. And probably it may be for the people who are in the moment, right? If you're in the moment, it's like, oh crap, I don't want to do that. Let me just jump on this thing and get it done. The problem with that is you may not get done. So when you set these little strategies, now you have to put those strategies in a system. And that system may be a calendar, it may be an app, or something that's going to keep you accountable. And if you are someone who is independent, you're good. But if you're a team player and you feel you need people to help you, you need to reach out and say, hey buddy, I need some support here. I'm going to be saving $100 every month, and I need your help to check in on me to make sure that I am doing it. You need an accountability partner. Put it in place, at least until you can stand on your own two legs. But don't leave it randomly. Now, once you have that in place, I will tell you this, that a structure, when I coach my clients, it's very important for me to know who they are. People come with different meta programs, right? They come with different backgrounds. They come with different levels of experience. So I have to know who they are, and I have to know what their circumstances are. So if, for example, they are someone who, let me just check, hey Addie. So if, for example, they are someone who actually has a day that's interrupted a lot, then I wouldn't tell them to put their schedule in a structure and say 8 o'clock I'm going to do this, 9 o'clock that's not going to work, trust me. Been there, done that. What I do for those clients is I give them a chart, and on that chart they're going to list the top 5 things that they must get done that day. Anything else is gravy, but put your top 5 things for that day. If you've got kids, young kids in the household, a baby, or example, that's what you're going to need to do. You put it in a list, and before all of that interruption starts, you get up and tackle that. Leave the emails alone. Don't tackle that first. Leave Facebook alone. Facebook is a gorilla that will eat your time away. It will. So before you touch any of those things, you go in and you tackle that. Now, when you're tackling that, there's another thing I want to bring to your attention, and this is called the ultradian rhythm. ultradian. Now, what the scientists have shown is that we operate on a cycle of 90 to 180 minutes. That is, every 90 to 180 minutes, our body needs a break. Now, you may find some people who may break it up into smaller bits, like maybe 50 minutes to an hour, and then you take a break afterwards. I like to do 90 minutes. I can't do those short span. If you let me, I'll sit all day and work without getting up, which is not good. But you need to take a break, and it should be a 15-20-minute nap is what the scientists suggest. Now, if you're at work and you can't take a nap during the day, then relaxation and deep breathing for 5 to 10 minutes will revive your spirit. What that does, it keeps you in ultra productive mode so that you can tackle anything. And I mean anything. And I'm not talking about exercises and water, because you have to make sure you're hydrating your body and you are at least getting some kind of activity going on. So that's not what I'm talking about. My routine in the mornings when I wake up, I drink 2 glasses of water, then I meditate and have my meditation prayer time. Then I go work out, and once I work out, then I start my day. That's my routine in the mornings. And then I do my 90-minute block, and I'm going to be straight honest with you. Sometimes I don't take that 90-minute when I remember, but I have to set that timer to remind me to take that 90-minute, to take that break every 90 minutes. And then I would just either sit here on my chair, lean back, breathe, or sometimes I go upstairs and just relax my body. You have to relax your body, because then if you don't do that, you get stressed out. You get really stressed, and you really are not as productive. So we're talking about how can you have it all? You can have it all, and you've got to put these strategies in place. So now the other system, so we just talked about the loose structure. You have a loose structure, and what I call that is a loose structure within a structure. And what that allows you to do is to have the freedom of picking which of those top 5 items you're going to tackle first. But remember, don't take the phone calls, don't go off and go on Facebook or social media or emails, because then when you do that, Believe me, you tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to check this one email, or I'm just going to go on Facebook and just take a glimpse to see what's happening. And before long, there comes that cute little baby on that video. And you start watching that video. Then there's a little cat, and then there is a story that's grabbing your eyes, and 2 hours later, you're messed up. Your whole schedule is messed up. So don't go on Facebook if you really want to have it all. Just concentrate on your focus. So now, once you have your structure, your strategies in place, the next thing is to put it in the structure. Now, if you have a day that can be structured, that is, you don't have interruptions during the time period, then you can block your time. Maybe 8 to 10, you're going to return phone calls, and you block it out by the hour and stick to it. Stick to it. What I do is I set an alarm in my calendar, and I use Google Calendars, and I just set an alarm. I set 2 alarms because I haven't done that before, and I messed up myself. Here's what happened. So I would set the appointment, and I would set a 30-minute reminder, and then it alarms 30 minutes, and I get busy, and then by the time I look up, it's 15 minutes past the time I should be doing it. So what I do now is I set my 30-minute reminder, then I set a 5 or a 1-minute reminder. And this way I know wherever I am, that reminder is going to come on my phone if I'm walking around with it, or it's going to come on my computer, whatever I'm doing, so I can check in. And if it's an appointment that I need to get to, I let it alarm like 3 hours before to give me time to get ready to go there. So you can use these technologies to empower you to do what you need to do and to really have it all, truthfully. So now I'm just going to check down here because I've been doing a lot of talking. Yes, it is about the journey. Thank you, Brenda. I'm visualizing and dreaming. Oh, absolutely, Jackie. Yep, boundaries. Yay. I see that, Jennifer. You're smart. The naps. Okay. Specific, measurable, action-oriented, relevant, and time-bound. Time-bound, Jackie. And for my meditation can range anywhere from 15 minutes, and sometimes I go to an hour. It just depends. When I meditate, it's a state that it's almost like, not almost like, man, I get answers. I literally get a download when I meditate. And if something is bugging me and I can't find the solution, like yesterday, there was something I need to make a choice. And what I did, I just went and I breathed deeply and I relaxed and I released. And do you know what? When I checked my email, I was able to make that decision just like that. A lot of times we agonize over a lot of things when the answer is already within us. If we were just to trust and to release, a lot of things will become clear. So yes, so that's what we are talking about today. And tomorrow what I want to do is talk about what do you do about the kids in the household, some of the things that you can do when you have children in the household, how additionally to get support for what you need. And I'm going to ask you this. If you have any questions at all, please write them in the box. I mean, I can talk about a lot of different topics, but obviously I only want to talk about what's important to you. And if it's important to you, then I will address it. I know some people have kids, some people don't have kids. I'm going to touch on both. Like today, whether or not you had kids, that was relevant. Yes, I see those hearts. Thank you. I love them. And whether or not you have kids, what the conversation we had today is completely relevant, okay? So, oh, is that a sad face? Oh, well, we'll see why that's sad. Okay. But if you have any questions, please, you can either put them on this thread, leave the comment, share this video with anybody you think that this can empower. And as I said, I just touched the tip of the iceberg. And if you want more information, you're just going to have to private message me. If you want this, the Magic Money Matrix, which is a 3-page checklist document type, then email me for that one, okay? And I will just send that one out to you. But if you need any other resource, just private message me, and then I will send you whatever the links are to the resources, because as I said, I'm not putting them here. My whole goal is just to deliver some value for you. I know we've got guys on the call, and for you two guys, but the ladies are, you know, really like they're right here, you know, right here. So just write the questions. Yeah. Just write those questions. And guys, if you have the questions, leave them too. I will really speak to it. And so I'm going to check this one more time just to make sure I'm not missing any questions. And yeah, Facebook is a time vampire, Jackie says. I completely agree with that. And if you're not careful, you get caught in that. And you just completely find yourself going completely off track. So you have to keep track of that. If there's anything that I talked about that you need more information on, let me know that, okay? And I'll be very thrilled to provide you whatever details you want. Call your friends with kids. I'm going to be dropping a lot of things that you can do with children in the household tomorrow. And so if you've got friends with kids, send them the link and make sure they're here at 3 p.m. Hopefully that darn connection will work at 3 p.m. on the dot so that I can get it going. But I'm glad that we were able to get on here anyway. And thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have the most amazing rest of the day. And I gotta pack up and jump out of here and go as somebody else comes to see my house. So have the most amazing time. Thank you. You're more than welcome. Very, very, very welcome. Love you all. See you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Bye.